everybody? What is good? I'm gonna wait till everybody get up in the building. Big game James here. You know how we do. I've been told y'all I was bringing Maddie back. Can I call you Maddie?
Oh yeah, that's what a lot of people call me.
Okay, yeah. I told you I was bringing Maddie back on here. It's been like a year since you got back on the scene with us, but it's a perfect time because we can talk about a lot of things. But about my guy Matt Johnson back on in the building. He's going to be doing this thing tonight, and we're going to be talking a lot of Cowboys football, dog. What's up with you, man? How you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you getting me back on. I know it's been a while. Been pretty crazy last couple of months, but excited to get back on. Got some stuff to talk about finally. So yeah, be done with that season and kind of move on. So that's a good thing. Yeah,
I know, right? It's finally a good thing that season is finally done and over with. But before we jump into anything, talk about what you just started today, because I know you just did something that I love doing, and I know you jumped into today. What you jump in today, big dog?
Man, we had our first official high school football practice. So I'm a DC over in Kennewick, Washington, and we're one of 4 states that hasn't got to play football yet. So, and everything's lining up that I think we're going to be able to play. It's going to be a shortened season, but I think we're going to be able to play, 5, 6, 7 games, something like that. So it's great for the kids, man. They've been grinding every workout we can do. Kids have been showing up and grinding. So it's going to be awesome for them to get a shot to Friday Night Lights. And I mean, because that's the stuff that a lot of those kids are not going to play afterwards, and they got to have those memories. So it was cool to get under the lights tonight and have a good practice. So.
I know, right? And are you like a head coach or are you a positional coach?
I'm just a defense coordinator. So it's my second year with the team that I'm with now. Head coach is a great guy, like great culture. Like we're trying to build something new, which is kind of cool to be a part of. It's not the best winning tradition we've had there, so we're trying to build something which is really cool to be a part of it. So,
well, I know you're gonna build something because I know you a beast. So I know you about to build something over there great. But let me give a few shout outs to my people in the building. I got my guy T Smooth TV, Thurston Howell, Kevin Richards, Texas Bread, Boo Thing, is in there tonight. Oh, no hype tonight, but it's the hype tonight because I got my guy Maddie on here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Marvin Hargrove Sr. What's up with y'all? Keep on jumping up in there on Facebook. Keep on jumping up in here on YouTube. Share, like all that good stuff. Get them likes up as long as we want because we're going to have some good football talk tonight. So it's kind of great that, it's weird. I've seen a couple of people, Matt, that after they leave playing, they go into coaching and they end up being coordinators and defensive coordinators from that position. Talk about just kind of that thought of, how does that feel? You coaching defense, do you feel like you got the added edge because you was in the league or, kind of talk about that? Do you think you have an added edge maybe over a guy who didn't play in the league and you're coaching your kids? Talk about that experience before we jump in this Cowboys stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously having that experience where I was coached by some of the best that's ever done it and experienced at the highest level, like that's going to give me an advantage. But like not everybody that as a player is a good coach. You really have to. And I've been working on this is my 4th year coaching high school, and I know my first year, I try to get too advanced, and you really got to slow things down and make sure that people understand it before you get going too much. And I'm a teacher too, so like everything teaching and coaching is the same thing, like it's literally the same thing. So. And that's the best coaches I've ever had. Make it so simple. Make it to where like you're looking for one check. So the call is whatever it is. If you don't see trips, then it is what it is. Now you see trips, you know what it is. So I mean that's what I try to do. Be as simple as possible. Try to give them one check. It's every day. Like this is what it is. Now we got empty. We got to check. Like so that's kind of what I think that. Especially on defense, man, and that's when we'll talk about Dan Quinn and new stuff for Cowboys. I just hope they can play fast. Like defense, got to play fast. It's so reactionary. Just do what we do well. And that's like, I mean, when he was with the Seahawks, like they were base cover 3, and granted they had dudes, but man, they just played super super fast. They were flying around the whole time, and that's kind of my thought process as a defense coordinator as well. So.
Yeah, we're going to definitely jump into that. We're going to talk about the Dan Quinn hire, but let's talk about the season as in a whole, in a nutshell. Didn't go the way we wanted, all as we wanted in Cowboys land. It was kind of crazy. Dak went out. The injuries were ridiculous this season. I haven't seen these kind of injuries in Dallas in a very long time. Ended up at the end of the year starting getting a little bit better as far as the defense started to make some click and had some turnovers in the 3 game span, like 10 turnovers. But ultimately was one of the worst defense in Cowboys history. Mike Nolan got the axe because of it. But kind of your thoughts, since we haven't talked since the beginning of the year, before the season even started, kind of give me your thoughts on the Cowboys season and kind of just how, when and, just kind of your thoughts on the season, McCarthy, the coaching staff, what's your thoughts?
Right. I agree with you 100%. Kind of what you said. It started out kind of with a bang, but we knew we had to outscore people the way the defense was playing. And then when Dak got hurt, it kind of, we lost like 4 or 5 straight after that. And defense did step it up late. I think, and I think that's why we played well towards the end. It was cool to see certain people that I think are going to be around for a while now step up, like Donovan Wilson and Diggs made plays all year. Those guys, Wilson played great the last 5, 6, 7 games. And, it's cool to see that, especially with, shutting down some of our main guys because of injuries or because the season wasn't going the way it was. So, it was tough. I believe in McCarthy still. Like, I think that, I feel like he's got to get a couple more years in there, but I love the Quinn hire. And I didn't think the defense, we talked before. I think you and me talked right before the season started. And I remember the first game, and just the defense was so, like, they just weren't flying around. Like, you can tell they were hesitant.
Right.
And I didn't think, like, the lack of OTAs and stuff was really going to be that big of a deal. But, it obviously was. Like, they didn't really start playing fast till halfway through the year. Like, that really did affect them.
So. Yeah. But, like we said, I think the biggest thing was, when Mike Nolan tried to come in and convert a 3-4, be multiple, and a lot of people were saying that there were no OTAs as normal. There was no rookie mini camp. There was nothing. It was like a training camp, 30 days, then you're playing football. I don't know where you do that in regular football, and I know you don't do that in the NFL where you can just force feed people. And because of COVID, they were doing a lot of things over the internet. They weren't actually on the field. They weren't practicing these things. So it's hard for you to, well, you tell me, Matt, if you're in a 4-3, right? Pretty much a base with Marinelli, and you're talking about going multiple or switching to a 3-4. We saw DeMarcus Lawrence standing up. We saw Everson Griffin. We saw Alden Smith. We saw those guys standing. Tell how difficult it would be to transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and you're doing it virtually.
It's ridiculously hard. And like you said, I know they're at the highest level, so like it's got to be even, more advanced, and you got to play faster. My first year was with Rob Ryan, and so he was very multiple. And that, granted, it was my rookie year, so for my first kind of time in the league, but I was swimming like most of that season, just trying to figure out stuff. And I'm a back end guy where it really doesn't change a ton, but it does change some. Like I can imagine going from 4-3 to a 3-4 with doing it virtually. Like, that's where like you kind of look and see what DeMarcus did, and he's just a stud. So like he's gonna be fine any scheme, but I think he's gonna flourish. Same with Gregory in this like 4-3 and that Leo DN that Dan Quinn's done before. Like that's why I'm so excited. Like when they hired him, I was so pumped about it because I think it's gonna suit the main guys we have on defense. We got to get a few more to like fit his scheme, I think. But I think the D line I think is set for us. Like it wouldn't hurt to get a few more guys, but I think if our guys,
I was about to say you said with that defensive tackle, because I'm not.
If they get, Tristan Hill gets healthy. I'm just saying.
But hold up, Matt. Now, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just like to, interject. I'm not, but you got Tristan Hill, but isn't he that 3 tech? You got Nelson Gallimore, and he played out of position at Oklahoma, and he played the 3 tech. We got Antoine Woods, but to me, he's not a starter. And I don't want to disrespect him. He might jump on my show and get mad. But you know what I'm saying? He's not the starter to me. And if he is a starter, I don't want him being a full-time starter. I want another guy that's going to come in here that we need the Dalvin Tomlinson that's over at the New York Giants, or when we talked about the Aleem McNeil that might be in the draft. Those type of guys, I want guys that are athletic that can push the pocket and half size. And we've been lacking in that D-Tech, that 1 tech especially for a long time, and it still showed up this year, man. We got gashed in the run game this year, and it was up the middle.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. Like I agree with you, and that's what's hard to like kind of look back on the film and see if our run fits with backers were messed up as well. Like I don't want to put it all in one guy, but I agree. Like having an athletic guy that can push the pocket, that's a game changer. You look at the best teams always had, like, the Bucs and Ndamukong Suh, like, that's a guy that is a game wrecker, and we got a couple of game wreckers on the edges. I think they can be game wreckers, but having an inside guy would be huge. Yeah, I just think we're more set in our front end defensively for his team than we are in the back end right now.
Right.
If we had to get who we have right now, I think we're more set there. So
right. And we definitely need to hit that back end. And I'm definitely going to talk to you about that because I want to get your knowledge on that cover 3 and things of that nature. But just bouncing off what you just said about Dan Quinn, I'm gonna keep it real. I thought they were gonna hire Dan Quinn. I'm gonna just be, and this is on God, this is on my kids. Once they got rid of Mike Nolan and it was coming up where Dan Quinn can be in the fold, it was like, okay, I think they're gonna hire him because he's a name. He's done it in Seattle. He's won a Super Bowl. It's easy for the Cowboys to say, let's go ahead and get him. And I feel like they do the shut up signings and do quick hirings. But you were excited about this. I've been listening to you. What is one of the main reasons why you're excited about the Dan Quinn hire as compared to the guys that are on the team and maybe even draft picks and free agents?
I think more it comes as a player perspective. I would like to play in that type of scheme where it's more simple and you get to go play fast and react to things. Like that's what I liked as a player, as opposed to thinking too much before the snap. And so I think, and obviously you see his track record. Whenever he's been a straight DC, not a head coach, but a straight DC, it's been the best defense in the league. And I know he had dudes in Seattle, but like I think if we got to get some help, but if he just sticks to that, and it might take a year or two. I just don't think. And then the thing about his scheme as well is I don't think we're going to be the worst or second or third worst team in defense in the league. Like I don't think we're going to get gashed like we were last year. Like I don't think that's going to be a thing. And I think if we cause turnovers, we can be one of the best defenses. That's what I think can happen. But I think it's probably more of a player perspective of why I was happy that he got hired. Just because thinking as a former player, I'd love to play for that defense, being a safety. So.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and I got a shout out to my guy Tariq Salim for the $5 holler. He says we need a defensive tackle, middle linebacker, free safety at one corner, and Jerry and Steven let the coaches do their job. I mean, I'm not going to do the Jerry and Steven thing because you already know how I feel about them. I'm going to leave that alone. I'll be nice tonight because Matt's here. I'm going to be nice tonight. But a lot of those positions you said, we need defense in a worse way because this is what I think, Matt. Dallas has been offense. They've been offense with Romo, Dez, DeMarco Murray, even now with Amari Cooper, Dak, Zeke. We've seen tons of offense, but what's it got us? You feel me? Defense wins championships. Even after we watched in the playoffs, it's been the defense that's won these games. You can have the Pat Mahomes. You can have those dogs. But you're going to still need a defense even if you got those offensive weapons because that defense carries. And I keep telling people time and time again, the defense carries. When it's wet, when it's warm, when it's dry, when it's muddy, it always carries. And that offense is not always going to be scoring 40 points a game. It's not always going to do that. But that defense can. And when that offense can only score 10 points, it's the reason why is that defense held that other team to 7. And you were able to come out that game with that type of victory. You get what I'm saying? So I seen you mention DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Alden Smith. We'll see if he comes back. Let's talk about these linebackers. Then we'll talk about the back end. A lot of people were getting on Jalen Smith, LVE. What do you think about the linebacking core, specifically Jalen Smith? And I mean, we be real on this channel, Matt. Now we be real over here. You tell me how you really feel about how the linebackers were, especially Jalen Smith this year.
And I'll be real, and I hate being a former player and being real because everything to do is tough. But he did not and I don't know if it was the scheme wise, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But I swear he misread 90% of the plays, and I know he's obviously he's still athletic, he can still run. I think he's not near what he was at Notre Dame, but he's still athletic enough. But man, he his reads and his missteps, and there's a couple times he's going the opposite way, and. So I don't know if it was a scheme thing or he just has a heart, he doesn't have the instincts. I don't know what's going on. But I mean, did he ever make many tackles? He made a few TFLs, but other than that, everything was 9-10 yards down the field. And you look at other backers, you look at the Bucs play with Devin White, and he's flying around making 1-2 yard gains on runs. We don't make anything any run, they're going to get 6-7 yards before we touch them. So I think it's a combo of everything. But yeah, man, he was a disappointment this year for sure, just based off everything. So.
And that's wild because he was telling all of us check the tape, and we was all watching the tape like, okay, man, we watching the tape, and it's kind of crazy what's going on here. And that's what I'm saying. I think the biggest thing that concerned me, honestly, Matt, was when he came out early and said, this defense is confusing. It needs to go be more simplified. And I get it. It might be that, but I feel like as the leader if you're saying you're the leader of the defense and you're the main linebacker on here, you got the contract and you're supposed to be the cornerstone. I don't feel like you come out in the media and say this is complicated. This needs to be simplified. I feel like you can't do that.
Yeah, you probably don't want to say that in the media. And if you do think that, then that's something you talk about coaches and you try to get it figured out. But I mean, you think Sean Lee would ever say something like that? Like,
hell no.
I really doubt that. And that's, I don't know, maybe that's part of what their mindset needs to change, and maybe Dan Quinn kind of helps out with that. But yeah, that's something you should never say. If you do think it, talk about it behind the scenes, but that's stuff you don't really want to say in the media. So
nah, hell no. And I got another thing right quick. A lot of people are saying, oh, let's just cut Jalen Smith and be gone with them. What are your thoughts about that? Because this is what I feel about Jalen. I wouldn't say cut him because he's still young, 25, 26. I feel like he still can do things on your defense. You don't put him as the guy, though. You know what I'm saying? He's not the guy. He's a secondary guy to me. But I feel like you do go out there and get somebody, but I don't feel like you need to cut him. I don't think his salary is killing the team. But you put a guy out there that's the dog and him be the secondary. Would you cut Jalen Smith and move on and draft a couple other linebackers? Or would you keep him drafting? What would you do with that situation with him?
I agree with you, man. I think he's young enough. I don't think his salary is killing us too much. And it's a new scheme. Like, who knows? And again, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because I know how hard it is to play in the NFL. But give him a new scheme where he's not thinking as much. Maybe that really is the case. Maybe he was thinking way too much. You give him a scheme where he can fly around and play, and maybe he surprises us, and hopefully they all get OTAs and stuff this year. I don't think we get rid of him yet, but I mean, I agree with you. He can't be the guy. Like, he can't be our captain on defense. Like, I don't think that's going to be a thing at all. So
no, he ain't that guy no more. What's your thoughts on LVE? My thoughts on LVE is, I saw those things in college, but, he has that size, and I guess you see the athletic ability and still oozes out of you. But, man, the injuries are showing up like they did, with Sean Lee. They came out, they were happening in college, and now they're showing up in the pros. And I don't know, just my opinion, I feel like that's why I like having players on here, because y'all can see it maybe different than I do. But I'm not saying he's soft, okay? I'm not saying LVE is soft. But I just feel like you're 6'4", 250, 260, and you just don't play to that size. What do you really think about LVE going forward, and his, fifth-year option is coming up? What's your thoughts on him?
I'm same as you, man. It's funny because like his rookie and second year, like he looked like a modern day Urlacher to me. Like, that's who I kind of compared him to. Was like a big, tall guy that can run, made plays sideline to sideline. And then this year, I mean, the whole defense looked like they were hesitant. But yeah, this year he kind of, I'm not coming with you. He's not soft. He's a tough dude. I know that. But the injuries suck. And I personally know how much that does suck if it really does keep happening. But I don't know, man. He's 250 and he doesn't play 250. I get what you're saying for sure. Like we don't have a presence that if a team wants to run it down our throat, we're just going to let them run it down our throat. At least we did last year. Like, and that's kind of demoralizing as a team. Like, even when we wanted to, and we know they're going to run, we couldn't stop it. And,
I mean, you tell me, Matt, when you play, even when you play, how does that feel as a defense when the Cleveland Browns are running for 200 yards? I mean, how does that feel as a defense when you're going to the sidelines? What usually happens? Talk to me, dog.
It's demoralizing. Like, you just kind of feel defeated. You get chippy with each other. If you don't have good leaders, if you don't have good captains, it's easy to get really chippy and start blaming and pointing fingers. And that's why I think having Sean Lee, even though he didn't play a ton last year, I think kind of held it together, because I think it could have got worse. Like, as far as finger blaming and pointing the finger and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, it's not good. Like, and then you start getting on each other, and then you start, misreading and fucking up the calls and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't got to be PG on here. You can cuss.
I know, that's why I don't stop for a second. Okay. I'm so used to Zooming for school and being a teacher.
I feel this ain't Zoom. You can be R-rated on this motherfucker, dog. Talk how you want.
Yeah, but it's almost more like demoralizing than getting someone thrown for 500 on you. Like, just because it's like it's a man type thing. Like, we can't fucking stop them, and they're just doing what the hell they want. Like, and I know they felt like that multiple times, and like the Browns game for sure. So yeah, I can imagine. And like I said, I think Sean Lee being there helped them, because it could have got worse. Like, I know it could have got worse from our perspective. It might have been bad behind the scenes. I don't know. But yeah, I know it was tough to watch, and I'm sure it's tough to be a part of.
Yeah. And, something that you just said to me kind of sticks out when you said that not just the finger pointing, is after the finger pointing, the misreading of assignments. I think that's where you maybe see when we get frustrated with the Cowboys, when we see why is he misreading the assignment? I think that's what happens, in my opinion. Guys get to pointing the finger or getting frustrated, and now all of a sudden you're not reading your keys, you're not staying on your assignment, you're not paying attention to the small things any longer, and that's why these guys are getting out running for third string running backs are running for almost 100 yards and gashing the team. I think that's what happens. And then once again, as you said, the leadership, if nobody's on that sidelines really getting anybody together, then it becomes just an implosion. And I said that when Sean Lee came back, I think Sean Lee was done. I think he needs to retire, and I think they need to try to put him on the staff and become like an assistant linebackers coach, because his mind is ridiculous. But I think him just coming on the sideline helped Jalen, helped LVE, because they were able to see things that they don't usually see. Like you said, when Sean Lee was in there at his top of his game, he was getting negative plays. He was getting in the backfield. He was stopping. He was seeing those plays before it happened. We don't have linebackers that can do that. And that's another reason, if you don't have a defensive tackle that can hold up in the run, your linebackers are misreading and not making plays in the backfield, then it implodes. And then you got a secondary that's okay. That's why you get up 200 and 300 yards rushing on your defense, because it implodes and it starts up front. When you don't have that, and then you don't have the leaders on the sideline to get you together. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because it's all about trust, right? If you start finger blaming and you like, well, he's getting out of his gap, so now I'm going to go into his gap because I don't trust him, and all of a sudden it spits in your gap, and then you're screwed. Like, it's all about trust, and I think that's one thing. Like you talked about, when Sean Lee was at his prime, he was like reading plays before the diagnose, and he was like Luke Kuechly, like a little less athletic Luke Kuechly, like making plays, TFLs, reading the calls, calling out shit before the play was snapped. And you didn't see any of that last year. And I know the kids are young, like I know the players are young, but you didn't see any of that, like, at all. You didn't see any, and I know it's tough. It was a tough year. I get it, with COVID and film study and stuff like that, but yeah, you didn't see any of the stuff. You don't see the plays that Devin White makes, on screens. You don't see that stuff and maybe it was the scheme stuff. I don't know. Like, if you're not behind closed doors, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Even if you do watch the 22, like, you don't know what's going on 100%. I mean, you can see if someone misread it. Like, it's not that hard to tell.
Right.
But we just didn't have guys, making those plays and playing with instincts and flying around. Like, we looked like we were a step slow almost the whole year on defense. And I know we have athletes. Like, I know there's dudes on the team, but we looked hesitant, man. Like, from the first game against the Rams, I was like, holy shit, man, the Rams defense looks 10 times more athletic than us. And I know it's a good defense, but I know it's the case. So yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah, and that's wild when you just said it, Maddie, because it's like we all sitting here looking at it like it's just like year after year after year. And this is what I said about the 2018 defense. I don't think that defense was great, but because Dallas hadn't had a defense in so long, and we haven't been, 2018 is just like, ooh, 2018 defense. That defense wasn't great, but we haven't had a defense, so we're hanging on 2018 like that was great. That's how bad it's been as far as on the defensive side of the ball. We got to be able to get some players up in there. Now, before we hit the safeties in the back end, would you draft a linebacker high in the draft? What would you do with the linebacker position? Would you get a free agent? Would you draft somebody? What would your be your thinking on that?
So I've done a couple of like the mock draft stuff, just kind of messing around. And I don't think the dude will be around, but the guy from Penn State, Parsons, if he's around, like, I just don't think he will be. I think that's a pick you got to make. But there's one guy, who was I thinking? The guy from LSU, Jabril Cox. I don't think that's a bad pick for us. I don't know.
I don't think that it is. The only thing that scares me about Jabril, Matty, is he's not physical. I'm a little worried about that, but he can do everything else.
No, I agree. And I know the games change. Like, even since I played, the games change. You got to be, you got guys that have multiple players like Tyrann Mathieu and guys and Budda Baker. Like, you don't need big-ass safeties anymore. And, you really don't need a ton of big-ass linebackers. Like, you look at the Bucs. I know Devin White's big, but Levante David's 215, 220 playing at it. But he plays fast. And so I agree, though. Like, wouldn't it be bad to have, like, a thumper in there? I just don't know. I think it's more important to get a corner and a safety. But I'm also a DB guy, so that's kind of biased. But I still trust those two. Like, I trust Leighton for sure if he gets in a good scheme, and I have high hopes that Jalen can just play faster because that's all he's got to do. I don't know though. Like, he was definitely a guy last year that, and I know his stuff showed up a lot, and it's easy to see linebackers and DBs versus D linemen, but I don't know. If they got a dude at the top at the 10th pick, if for some reason that Penn State guy is still there, I think you got to take him. But I just don't see it happening.
I don't. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you on that one because I don't want to take no Parsons at no 10. That's just me. I mean, he got a lot of it, but I feel like at 10, you better do everything. At 10, you better come in there. I mean, 10 at a linebacker, you got to be just a straight animal on every single thing. Coverage, stopping the run, leading. I mean, you got to be the dog. And I don't know if I can, in my opinion, I can trust Parsons yet on that. I don't know if he's that guy. And at 10, I wouldn't do it because I know you can get other linebackers. They don't grow on trees, but I feel like there's more plentiful linebackers that you can get in the 3rd and 4th round, be more doggish. Not saying Parsons is not a dog. I'm just saying you can still get really good because I like that Nick Bolton kid from Missouri. I think he's nice, but I question his speed, but he can cover. And right now, Matty, we need linebackers that can cover. We need guys that can't just, stop that run. We need guys that can cover because those running backs out the backfield and in the screen game, we're destroying our linebackers, and we need guys that can stay on the field, do 3 downs. So I need a linebacker like that, and I don't really want to jump at 10 and do that when there's other things available, especially a corner that we can get, and we're about to jump into that right now, especially on this back end. Now, I don't know if you've been really following the cornerbacks as far as coming out in the draft, but J.C. Horn, Caleb Farley, Surtain from Alabama, you just mentioned it. You want to get a corner or a safety. How's your feeling about the back end right now with the Dallas Cowboys, especially like with Trevin Diggs? What's your thoughts about him?
I think there's 2 guys in the back end that I think Quinn will keep, and I think they're going to try to figure out more guys. I think Donovan Wilson, I think Trevon Diggs. Diggs is a ball hawk, and I know he got burnt some, and I know he was a rookie, but I just think we need a guy like him that's going to get the ball back. Like, we don't have guys that create turnovers. Like you've been saying, it's been a long time since the Cowboys defense does that. And we did, I think you said it earlier, 3-game stretch where we had 10 turnovers and 3 dubs. It's not rocket science. Like, if you get turnovers, you're going to win. And I think he's a dude. I think him in this scheme, like if he can be in a Dan Quinn scheme, and I know he's not quite the size that he usually likes at corner, but I think the way he plays the ball, man, like he's a receiver out there playing corner, and that's not many people are like that. So I love in the way that he has no fear at all. Like, you need that as a corner, and you could tell. Like, I mean, obviously his brother helps him out with that, but no fear at all. And then the way Donovan Wilson played, man, towards the end of the year, he was so much fun to watch. And it was cool for me because being 37, that's what I wore in Cowboys, being 37, flying around hitting people. I was like, damn, dude, that's what I wish I could have done if I stayed healthy. But he was a ball hawk. Like, I think he's going to be a player that you give him a year in the scheme and let him really, really figure it out. He's the type of guy that I think has the instincts that can go make plays that we need to. I think, like, if I did a couple of mock drafts, like, I think that Farley kid, obviously I think Surtain's probably a better fit, but Farley's just as good, I think, at Virginia Tech, or probably Surtain would be if he's there. He might not be there at 10. And I like the safety from TCU, that the other Trevon guy from TCU. He's a big, Trevor Moore, yeah. But I mean, there's a couple safeties around that level that you can probably get in the second. But I was talking to my wife about it because she's a big Broncos fan. Her family's huge Broncos. Like, if somehow you can get Justin Simmons and
that ain't gonna happen. You know that ain't gonna happen. So we ain't even gonna bring that up.
I was like telling her about it. Like that would fit his scheme so well. Like him being that true free safety, being like that Earl Thomas back there would be money. But yeah, I think Trevon and Donovan are going to be staples, and I think we got to look for others. Like that's probably going to be it.
All right, so you just said that. So what I'm gonna ask you about one player, and then I'm gonna go off something that you just said. One player that would you bring back, and I want honest opinion, Chidobe.
Ooh, man.
Because I get so many people on here that just be ripping him and all this and that. I think, in my opinion, Matty, that you can bring him back. Out of all of them, if you brought Anthony Brown back, okay, you brought Anthony Brown back, you can definitely bring a Cheeto back. And I get where, and here's my thing. This is what I say about him, Matty, and I'm not trying to convince you. This is what I say about Cheeto. He ain't going to cost a lot because he missed damn near a whole year just like Anthony Brown did. So he's not going to cost a lot of money. And you don't have to look at Cheeto no more as the second round draft pick savior guy. He's not that guy. We don't have to look at him like that. We have to look at him at another corner that's still young and athletic, can probably get him at a good contract, and he can contribute to the team, especially if we're talking. I think he's more of a zone type cornerback, and you have a Dan Quinn now who's more of the zone type guy. So I think he fits more of that scheme, and I think he's better at it, and you can get him at a good rate. That's why I feel like Chidobe would be cool. The other guys, you can go ahead and Jordan Lewis. I think he wants an opportunity. I would get rid of Anthony Brown. They want to keep him just because that's a body, but I would sacrifice him. You could still save money for him and have a Chidobe. You got Morris Kennedy coming back. You still got a Rashard Robinson, Trevor Diggs. I bet you they put Reggie Robinson back at cornerback. I bet you they do that. And now you got a guys right there, and then you can still draft maybe like a Farley. I hear what you're saying about Surtain. I feel you, but I'm scared of Surtain. I don't know why. I like Farley better, even though he's more inexperienced. But that athletic ability, dog.
Yeah.
Ooh, and he played quarterback.
I didn't know that.
He played quarterback in high school, dog, and had 58 touchdowns his senior year. He ran for like 37 touchdowns and had 21 passing as a quarterback. And he said he ran a 4.2 in high school, and he didn't want to tell anybody because they wouldn't have believed him.
See, and I agree with you with the Surtain thing because I think he's comes from Bama, so everybody looks at him, but he's athletic. Yeah, he's not athletically. I agree. Like, and he's technique-wise, he's always in the right spot, but you can even tell against Ohio State and stuff, like athletically, he doesn't have it like some of those guys do. I agree. That's why I like the Farley guy more, and Surtain might even be gone then. But I agree with you that the Chidobe, I think he's more of a dog than Anthony, than Brown is. Like, and I don't know how else to explain it. Like, there's certain times where, at least it seemed like he was giving more effort and was more of a dog, willing to fight. Sometimes Brown was off in coverage, playing too passive. And again, I don't know if that's scheme. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think Chidobe's got more dog in him than Brown does. So that's why I'd bring him back too. And like you said, it's going to be a little bit cheaper, and especially if you plan on getting a top corner in the draft, like at one of the top couple rounds. That way, Chidobe can be that third corner. Doesn't have to be one of those dudes, because I think Trayvon's going to be a dude, and I think if you can get that Farley guy, like I think that's pretty solid. And I know it's wishful thinking because it's a rookie and a second-year guy, but for this scheme, I think that would fit pretty damn good. So, and
I agree, just like you said, the scheme. I think it fits the scheme. And if we're going to do a trade-off, I would get rid of, like I said, Anthony. If you're asking any Cowboys fan, okay, keep Anthony Brown or keep Chidobe. I'm going with Chidobe over Anthony Brown, dog. Like I said, Anthony Brown just feels soft for me, man. I'm not hating on him. I just feel like, and Chidobe, even though he gets passes called on him and we get frustrated about what he does at times, at the end of the day, he does compete. He does fight for it. He doesn't just give it up. He competes every time, and I like that about a player. And like you said, Dan Quinn coming in, I think he helps Chidobe if you do bring him back. I think he reestablishes maybe his confidence and kind of helps him. So we're going to talk about safeties, all right? When you talked about Donovan Wilson, we're excited about him. I love Donovan Wilson. I've been chirping him for a while, but I still need to see more from him, Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we brought up Trevor Morwick from TCU, possibly could get drafted, or they may get somebody afraid to say they ain't going to be a top guy.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell me about scheme. Even when you played in college or when you played in Dallas. Tell me about a cover three and what should Cowboys expect from Dan Quinn in that cover three defense from the secondary wise.
So it's a pretty base scheme. Like, it's pretty base cover three scheme. I know he can do some shit out of it, but you need that free safety, that Earl Thomas type guy that can cover ground. You need him to go numbers to numbers. He needs to be a physical guy as well, but with that ball hawking guy that I know Dallas has been looking for forever, since Darren Woodson, really, that type of guy. And then you need, and I know the game's changed some more, so you don't need a 6'4", 240-pound guy like Cam Chancellor was, but you need a guy that can go fill the gaps, either drop down safety. They kind of teach it. I think this is how he's going to teach it too. They teach it kind of like skiff technique. So with the outside backer and that safety dropping down, he's going to carry the seam. He's going to get to the curl, and then he's going to rally to the flat. And, you look at some of that Seattle film from when Dan Quinn was the guy, it was literally like, shell defense, throw it to the flat, and it's a freaking race to the ball. And guys are knocking dudes out because they're just running, trying to be the first one to the ball. And then if you get really good at it, like that Seattle defense was, you get a bunch of those crossers. I mean, you look at like the first series against the Broncos in that Super Bowl where Cam Chancellor knocks out Welker, and, he did that so many times where it looks like a scheme. And the nice thing is you can disguise it as cover one really easily and then just drop into cover three with it. You got to have backers that can cover. You got backers that know how to drop. And then I think the big thing is having one corner. I mean, having that Sherman for them from so many, kind of like a shutdown corner on that one side. And Sherman, he's a zone corner. Like, he doesn't play very much man. He's long and super smart. But I think that's why I'm excited, because I think it's interesting. I think Donovan Wilson can play either one of those spots. Honestly, I don't know.
Really?
He's not super big, but I mean, he's just a ball hawk. Like, that's where it's interesting to me to see if he would want to draft a strong safety or a free safety compared to pair with him. I think he's probably more of a strong, just because he is that type of guy that can fill down in there, but I think he can do both. And then the scheme is simple. It's tough for an offense to read because it looks like one or it looks like three, and it's easy to disguise. And then you play fast. Like, it's a drop down safety cover three. And you can drop the safeties inside and move the backers out. So that stuff kind of fucks with the offense every once in a while. But it's going to look like a one high look probably most of the time. So, I mean, I think the guys will play a lot faster. And I think if we get a couple guys that fit his scheme good, man, I think we'll run with it. So.
Okay. Now, see, you got me a little excited. See, I was pessimistic. I was like, okay. See, that's why I like bringing the former players, and I like guys who play in the back end to really explain it, so we can really understand it more. Like, why should we get excited about Dan Quinn coming in the building? Now, and when you're talking about in this defense, who is the main person in this defense that you say is like, what is one of the most important pieces of the cover three defense in your opinion? From linebacker to safety to defensive tackle, what's the main position you think that you really got to make this pop to make this defense work?
It's tough because you always go back to that Seattle defense and how damn good they were. And they had guys at like every level. Like, they had a dude at every level. I'm going to say free safety. Like, I really think having a cover three free safety that can cover a ton of ground and kind of make up for other guys' mistakes. I think Earl Thomas, like, obviously I know he's one of the best safeties like ever, but I think he's kind of underrated in the fact that he just covered so much damn ground and kind of made up for other stuff, and Cam Chancellor obviously was great at drop down safety and Wagner in the middle, and they had dudes everywhere. But I think if we can get a true ball hawking number to numbers free safety that makes up for people, then I think that's the thing about it, is it makes up for people. Like, it helps you out if you don't have every dude that you need. So that's what I think.
So let me ask you this now. Dan Quinn had is it Keanu Neal, I believe, over in Atlanta, and he's coming up in free agency. He's 26, and I know he's had some injury history, but I really feel like that would be the Cowboys' target because he had a history with Dan Quinn. He is a free safety. You compare him with Wilson, and maybe you could still draft a safety high. What would you think about something like that, him coming over to Dallas and coming over into the program with Quinn? Would you feel good about that?
Hell yeah. I would love that. And I know he's had injuries, but when he's healthy, man, he flies around. I think he was Pro Bowl his second year, is like all rookie his first year or something like that. Like he was a dude, and he's big. Like he's bigger than Donovan Wilson is, I think. Like, and so that's kind of cool too, is that maybe those guys can be interchangeable because, you know, there's certain times when I was playing with Barry Church and he was more of a drop down safety. So it was kind of tough to like be interchangeable, but every once in a while we would interchange and he'd play that free and I drop down and play that strong. And so if you can do that, all the more power to you. That's just more disguising. But I think having Keanu Neal come, like you said, he's got Dan Quinn history, the free agent. He's only 26, but yeah, he'd be huge. Like he'd be able, and then be able to take some of those guys under his wing because he's been with Dan Quinn too. So I think that's a win-win, dude. And yeah, like you said, if you can get another top safety in the second, third, fourth round, something like that, I think that'd be huge. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the Trevin Morwick kid from TCU. What do you like about him at the safety position? Do you think he could come right in, you know, and contribute right away? You know, what's your kind of thoughts on him, especially let's say if the Cowboys went and got a Neal, right? And, you know, what would Trevin add to the team if the Cowboys drafted him, in your opinion?
I think just coming from TCU, that's a defensive scheme that is usually pretty complex. But I mean, I think I got to look at his stats again. I think he had a ton of interceptions in his career. And I just kind of reading up on some of the stuff the last couple of days about him. I mean, he's good size too. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", 205, something like that. You know, if you get Keanu Neal and you got Donovan, I think those are your two starters going day one. But then you got another guy that can maybe play both spots. Like I'm big into that having guys that can play, especially with the way the game's changing. Like you got to have guys that can play multiple spots. You never know what the offense is going to bring to you. That's why I like guys like Budda Baker and Tyrann Mathieu and people like that are so important and such game changers because they play multiple spots. So I like that. I mean, I'm looking at some of the safeties right now that are that high ranked guys, and like the Florida State dudes, you know, big 6'4", 220 guy. I don't know. That's what I'm not huge up on this draft as far as safeties go. I just know like that's a guy that kind of stood out to me watching some of his stuff. But if you can get Keanu Neal though, I think you can maybe wait a little bit. Then maybe you go some interior D lineman instead. You go corner, interior D lineman, and then get a safety a little bit later. So, I mean,
yeah, for sure. And I got a couple of questions. I got some people that asked in the stream. Let me see right here. Let me see right here. I think somebody asked you. Okay. My guy Raheem Scott. What up, Raheem? What up with you? He has this question. I'm gonna let you answer it, Matty. Said, who are your safeties and free agents? Just if you know, just if you've been following it, would be interested in. I know you mentioned Simmons, and are realistic for this team, so that's why we ain't talking about him because that ain't realistic. But guys like Malik Hooker, etc. Your thoughts? What do you think about if you saw anybody besides Simmons? What do you think about anybody in free agency, Matty?
I mean, we kind of just hit on it. I think Keanu Neal would be a great fit just because he's a Dan Quinn guy. Malik Hooker's a ball hawk too. I'm looking at some of the other guys that, I mean, price wise, like you said, Simmons ain't going to be a dude. I don't know. Like I think Keanu Neal might be the best guy looking into it if he can, if health isn't a concern. But Malik Hooker too. I don't know which one would be more expensive in free agency. And that's also too like then we get talking about Dak and how that's going to affect everything too. So,
right.
But I like, if I have to pick one, I'm with you, man. I like Keanu Neal. Like I think that's who I think would be the best fit, the easiest fit, and I think it'd actually work out pretty well. So.
Yeah, I think they're going to go that route. I'm sorry, I don't know Dallas 100%, but I kind of know their tendencies, and they're going to go with things that are familiar with them. That's what they do. They're going to go with things familiar with them, and I feel like they don't want to take a long time in installing this and making this thing happen. So I feel like they're just going to go with things they're familiar with them. Now, my homeboy Tyrone Church, he's been preaching Malik Hooker, so let me give him a shout. And I like Malik Hooker. I'm gonna keep it real. I've been like Malik Hooker since State, but he can't stay healthy. And I think even this year he was hurt again. Now, he wouldn't cost a lot of money because he's going to be cheap because he's been hurt. And I would not mind taking a flyer and hope, he could be healthy. I'll give him a cheap contract, let him come into camp and see if you can make it. So that'd definitely be a look for me. But I just really feel like the Keanu Neal thing is going to really happen more than anything else for the familiarity. He's still young, and if he can stay injury-free, I think he can be a help as far as calling the defense and getting the defense in the right spots, because that's what's been the biggest problem in Dallas Cowboys as far as that back end. Guys being in the wrong spot, guys being in the wrong position, not knowing where to go, and it's hurt us. And just you tell me, Matty, when you played free safety, you played both positions. What's it like out there when you're making those calls? Tell me, how important it is out there to do that.
It's so important. That's why, like, talking about Barry Church, because my second year when him and me were rolling with the ones.
And before you finish, I need to get both of y'all on the show, because we just had Barry on like 2 weeks ago. You feel me? And I need to get both of y'all on there, because that's going to be a cool ass show, because both of y'all fall together. But my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish.
No, dude, I'm down. Barry's an awesome guy, and that's what I'm going to say. Like, he was huge in helping me out, because he's been there for a couple of years, knew the defense a little bit, and even when we got our kind of Marinelli came in at the same time, so we were both there at the same time, kind of learning it together. But it's so big having another guy with you, especially at a safety spot. But same with backers, same with corners, same with D linemen. Like, having guys that know what's going on, that you can be reassured with. You know what I'm saying? So instead of just both of you guys guessing, like, or figuring it out, like, you guys are on the same page, what's going on. And then it becomes second nature, and then you don't really even got to talk. And so that was huge for me, having a vet there. And even my first year, having some of the vets on defense, like Sean Lee helped me out a ton, and even Sensabaugh on the back end, because it was a pretty complex defense with Rob Ryan. And then, Barry Church taking over. Like, he was a quiet guy, but he was such a good leader as far as getting us in the right spot. And he took pride in that. And I think that we have guys there. Like, I know this year was crazy with COVID and stuff, but I think that's why I'm so excited about Dan Quinn, having a full year with him, hopefully a full off season, and bringing in a Keanu Neal. Someone like that would be huge, man. It would be awesome. It'd be good for everybody. So I like it.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to see what happens with that. Hopefully, it all turns out. But let's talk about talking about players and back end and all that good stuff. But the biggest deal right now is this Dak Prescott thing. Mm-hmm. Now, we just seen that crazy thing that happened with the Rams and the Lions with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. That stuff was crazy. Everybody's talking about the class of 2016, like Dak is the last man standing from all this craziness. Everybody getting traded out, cut, all kind of stuff. And now Deshaun Watson talking about I want out, and we're figuring out what's going to happen with that. It just came out. I don't know how true it is that the Cowboys may have offered Dak a 5-year, 175, but that's already been talked about. What's your thoughts on the situation with Dak? Do you want him back? And I mean, tell the truth. Like, do you think, well, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen. We need to move on. Tell me your thoughts on this Dak Prescott situation, and just from you looking from afar.
It's so tough, even being, a former Cowboy player and a diehard fan. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's crazy, because you would think you would have an idea. I want him back. I think Dak's, a legit QB. I think he can lead us to a Super Bowl. Like, I believe that. And I think, obviously, we got to, like, I'm firm with you, man. Defense wins championships, so that ain't going to happen unless we figure it out on defense. But I don't know. Like, it's so hard, and I'm, like, not up with, like, the cap and all that stuff and how that's going to affect everything. I don't know, if you don't bring Dak back, what are you going to do? Like, that's my biggest question. Like, if you don't have it back, what's your game plan? Like, if you can tell me, like, a good idea that, like, is legit and could happen, and we get, another top tier QB, go for it. But I just don't see that happening. And so I think we got to bring him back, man. I think you can see what we were like without him, and that's with a defense that wasn't playing up to its level. So I say we bring him back. I just have no idea. Like, if we franchise him, how's that going to affect everything? Like, is that going to make him want to leave? I don't know. I wish I knew more about it. I wish I had an idea what's going to happen. But I think we got to bring him back. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think we need to.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like this is my feeling on it. I just feel like, why start over? Why have to go through all this of the unknown, the unpredictable? You're really going to take a chance on an unproven quarterback after you have a guy who's done everything you wanted and who's a good soldier. And, my feeling with the contract is this. This is what I think, and I want to ask your quick opinion on it. The Cowboys are steadfast with this 5-6 year deal. That's all they do. That's what they talk about. And you dealt with contract. I mean, you've seen it. So you've seen things that we haven't seen. They're stuck on that 5-6 year deal, and they don't do that for anybody. Dak is coming in saying he wants that 4-year deal, and his agent is steadfast with it. Do you think the Cowboys are saying we're not going to do this deal? We're going to stay pat at this 5 or 6 because if we do this 4-year deal with you, it'll set a precedent when we haven't done that with nobody. So now maybe people behind you are going to start wanting them 4-year deals, them shorter deals with us, and now it's going to be a problem with us. Are you thinking, this is just my thinking, that could be happening? Is that why they might be digging their feet in the ground? What do you think about that with that 4-year? Because they don't do them deals.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, dude. That could be why it's an issue. If I'm them, I say, we make an exception for Dak and figure it out. And then if the other guys want to do it, work that situation out. I just think we got to bring him back. But I bet you that could be it, man. That's the reason why it's such an issue, because Cowboys are pretty stuck in their way, and they like doing it their way,
Right. Tell me, you was there. And I'm not telling you to bash the Joneses or nothing like that, but was it their way or the highway?
I never got that second contract, so that's really where you get the negotiating going on. Being a draft pick, you can only wiggle a little bit. Everything's kind of set in stone. Mm-hmm. And I've been around stuff when they gave Barry that extension even right after he tore his Achilles. They take care of you, and I know that they do take care of guys that are their guys, which it makes it just kind of tough why they haven't really took care of Dak yet, to be honest with you, because
but that's what I'm saying, man. You said they take care of their guys, but they haven't taken care of him. Is he really their guy?
See, and that's where I've had a few conversations with that, because they say it all the time, and I don't know why he wouldn't be, but you're right. They've never really done this with any other of their dudes. They always take care of their guys early, and they always get it figured out quick. And I don't know. And maybe it is the agent's trying to, he's not trying to move it all. And I don't know. I just know we got to bring him back. But you're right. This is the one time where it's a dude that Cowboys always take care of, and it really hasn't happened yet.
This is the one time, in my opinion, you make the exception for this quarterback, because this isn't a guy that is the jerk. This isn't the guy who's the idiot quarterback. This isn't the guy who's bad in the community. This is the guy that you want. This is the model system. This is the guy. This is everything you want in a quarterback. And he continues to get better. He doesn't get worse. He gets better. From his rookie year up until now, he's made himself a better quarterback and made him a top 10 quarterback. He made himself that way. So I'm thinking in my head, it's just me confusing. Wouldn't you want that as an organization? You don't want a quarterback that's going to fall off. You want a quarterback that's always want to get better. And he loves his organization, because me personally, I think he should put his foot down and say, I'm not playing and signing nothing if you don't sign me to trade me. Then I want to say, I'm going to put that in their face and see what they really do. And I feel like they play this game because Dak doesn't come at them like that, like maybe some of the other guys. If Dak said, no, I ain't doing nothing. If you don't do anything, then trade me. Yep. I want to see what happens if he jump out there and do that.
I agree, man. And he won't. And maybe he will eventually, because maybe they'll force him to. But, yeah, he's the type of guy that would never do that, because he's going to go out there and compete his ass off, break his leg for the team. And that's why I agree with you, man. Why do you not want to sign this guy? He's a perfect Dallas Cowboys quarterback. If you had if you can think of any QB in the league right now, I don't think anybody fits the Dallas Cowboy QB mold better than Dak does. He's a great leader. You can tell teammates love him. The community loves him. He's personable. He never has any issues off the field. He's kind of everything that you want. And it's hard being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. That's probably one of the toughest jobs in sports, and he handles it like a champ, dude. So, yeah, it's weird. And I don't know, like you said, you and me don't know because we're not behind closed doors, but you would think they would take care of their guy. And this is their the Cowboys, if you pick one, he's the guy. You got to take care of him. So I agree, man. He's the one guy that has no issues, and he's one of the best leaders I've seen. You can tell the players love him, dude. They rally around him, and when he's not there, it's a different team. Even on defense, it's a different team. So
you saw it. If this wasn't the proof this year, how much he meant to that team, not just on the field, just off the field, his inspiration, his leadership, guys follow him. And Barry said that a lot of the Cowboys that I've had on the show and said the main thing they've said that Dak took over this locker room from day one. And even I think Barry said it, and he said this was no shade to Romo. He said no shade to Romo. He said, but Dak had what Romo did. And he played with Romo, but he said Dak had that leadership. And people just rallied around him. And he said, not too many people have that. And when you get that, you just can't just let that out the building.
That's funny that Barry said that, because I never got to play with Dak. Like, he came in after me.
Mm-hmm.
And Romo was a great leader. Like, there's no like shame in what he did. But I feel like Dak's like more of that presence all the time. Like, if that makes sense. Like, fourth quarter, Romo's the dude. Fourth quarter, like, hell yeah. Like, everybody's going to rally around him. Game time, we're going to rally around him. I think Dak's that guy all the time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know that for sure, but that's just what it comes off across. And I think he just has that, like, and maybe it being a younger dude, I don't know what it is, but he just has that where, like, he wants to be, and it's not even like it's not selfish. Like, it's selfless. Like, you can tell he loves the people he's around and he loves the organization, and it shows in, like, how he carries himself. Yeah, I agree with that. That's funny that Barry said that, because I can see that. And it's crazy to say that he has what Romo didn't have, because, I mean, Romo was a great leader, great QB, awesome Cowboys quarterback. But to say that just tells you how important Dak is, man. That tells you how good he is. Like, that's why they got to sign him, dude. Like,
right. And I just think I'm gonna just, if that doesn't happen, and I'm gonna keep it real, man. I'm 50-50. I told everybody. I think it was 2019. It was mid 2019. I think then when they were talking about the Jamal Adams trade, I don't know when they were talking about that. It was just about basically starting to come up. And I said, man, and I made a tweet and I said, they're gonna tag Dak. I said, because if they believed in him, they would already signed him. You know what I'm saying? They tagged him. And then I talked to one of my guys who's kind of close with the organization, and he said they're gonna tag him again because that's gonna be the negotiation point with them and I think Todd France. And I heard from the grapevine, like, they don't get along. Like, Stephen Jones and him do not get along. And when the agents and Cowboys don't get along, man, that's a problem. They like being able to get along with their agents. And I just wonder how far this is going to go, because guess what? It's February. The draft is in 2 months.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of top quarterbacks out there. And that's why I'm like, what's really going to go on? Because I feel like there's a game being played right now. And I don't know, man. I just, if they don't get Dak in, I'm going to be very pissed if he leaves and goes somewhere else. I'm happy for him. But I'm just going to sit there in my heart, man, and say, yeah, we just, it's just the same old thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. And everything I've been, like, reading up on, they got to figure this out before the draft. Like,
dog, it's February, bro.
I know, like, it's got to happen now. Like, I'm an optimistic person, but, like, if it ain't happening now, like, is it really going to happen by then? Like, what's holding up right now? So I don't know, man. I agree.
Dog, it's crazy, and it's just, and here's another thing that just frustrates me, is because Dallas always wants to be in the news, in my opinion. And once again, instead of us just talking about getting the draft, high draft pick 10th, well, who we gonna pick? What are we talking about? Dak Prescott. Shouldn't be talking about this issue, and they make it this way, and that's why I get frustrated with this organization, because we can talk about draft picks and we can talk about free agency, we can talk about this and that. But fundamentally, still things that go on frustrate me, and I feel like that's why we still go in this circle. Because me and you just talked about, you have one of the most important positions in the building. The most important position. You had Troy Aikman, you should know. You had Roger Staubach, you should know. Quarterback is one of the most important positions, and you have that guy now. You drafted him because you've been wanting to get a franchise quarterback to take over after Romo left. That's what you were trying to do. That's what your main thing was to do, to get a guy behind Romo. You finally get him, and now you're playing games.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, man. Just
as much as we talk about, defense wins championships, look at the last 4 teams. Like, all 4 of those QBs were top tier QBs. Like, if you don't have Dak, say we get rid of Dak and we don't have a top 15 QB, like, we have no shot, man. Like, I don't care how good the defense is. Like, you got to have, like, I know defense is important, but, like, those last 4 teams are all, Josh Allen, Rodgers, Brady, and Mahomes. Like, Dak's in that level with Josh Allen. Like, he's that type of guy that can take us there. Like, and we have it. We don't, like you said, a rebuild is so scary and so, like, up in the air. Like, and you don't want to waste people's, like, that's where you get in situations where you waste people's career and waste people.
Exactly. Wasting years on the careers. And we've already seen that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see how it eventually goes, man. But hey, I want you to tell me, because I'm about to head up off of here, man. I appreciate you jumping on here, and we're gonna do this, man. We need to do this more, because I love talking with you, and I love the people love talking, having you on here, man. I want you to give me a little background. You know, we talked a little bit in the beginning, but I want you to give a little bit of background. You know, what you're doing now, how you're coaching, all that good stuff, so people can kind of keep a heads up on you. Because I had people. It was funny, man. I'm gonna give you a story right quick. So when I posted, you know, I posted your picture on my YouTube page and was like, you know, Matt is going to be back on here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to kick and do everything, right? Somebody jumped on there and said, who's he? And Matt Johnson. And this other dude jumped on there afterward and said, yeah, you ain't a real Cowboys fan. Because if you was a real Cowboys fan, you know about Matt Johnson. And I just started rolling, because that's what I feel in my heart. Like, I ain't trying to disrespect you as a Cowboy fan, but if you don't know Matt Johnson, dog, I'm sorry, man. Unless you were super young, you suspect. Everybody know about Matt, because he was going to be the guy. He was supposed to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I was just funny when I heard all that. I seen that back and forth, because they went like Matt. They really like had a whole conversation about it. Like I was just reading the whole conversation. I was just rolling. I was like, I'm about to tap Matt this, because they just don't know about my guy. But let them know, bro, about, you know, what you got going on, what you're doing, and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. First, I appreciate that, and like that's the cool thing about Cowboys fans, man. And like, because I'm a guy that, like, you know, I used to get noticed at grocery stores and stuff when I was playing as a rookie, and I'm like, holy crap, man, Cowboy fans are unreal. And, you know, and like for you to say that, like, that's awesome. Like, I think of myself as like, you know, someone doesn't know who I am. Like, it's, you know, it's not a big deal. Like, they probably don't know who I am, but that just tells you how big Cowboys Nation is and how much people care about Cowboys football. So that's a cool story. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, that's just how crazy Cowboy football fans are, man. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm, like I was talking to James earlier, like I'm a teacher in Kennewick, Washington. So like South Central Washington. I grew up on the west side of Washington, but now I'm living over here. Coaching football and basketball at a high school, and actually I'm a PE teacher for elementary school. And man, it's kicking the pants. It's so much fun. Like, I don't have a bad day. Like, I wake up, you know, talk to my wife all the time. Like, I don't have a bad day, man. I miss, like, you know, we've talked some about me getting into college coaching and stuff like that, just because I feel like I have a lot of, you know, football knowledge, and I love football like more than anybody. But, you know, it gives me a lot of time to have time with my wife and dogs and be around people that care. And, you know, college coaching is crazy time commitment, but, you know, we've kind of talked about, now that I got my health back in order and stuff, you know, maybe coaching college here pretty soon. But I love coaching high school. I love helping those guys become men, and I think it's an important job to have. And if you really care about people and care about the sport, football is like the best sport in the world to teach you life lessons, man. Like, it really is. And so that's what's cool. I'm glad I get to do that. But, you know, I love being on the show with you, dude. I appreciate it. Like you said, we got to do this more, and getting Barry on here would be awesome. I haven't talked to Barry in a couple of years, so that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get that popping, dog, because I'm like, y'all was both back there. And Barry, I'm going to just keep it real. Out of all the homies, you know what I'm saying, we had on the late night hype, Jesse Holly was like our dog, right? You know what I'm saying? And then when Barry came on there, we were like, hold up, Barry's like our second favorite dog. Like, Barry is cool as shit. Like, he is so down to earth. He is like so cool, just like you. And I'm gonna just keep it real, man. You know, we look at the athletes, you know, like they're not people. I mean, we know they are, but we tend to act like they ain't people. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got feelings like everybody else. But I will say, I love being able to have you guys that come on the show and are humble. And I'm not saying you can't have some cockiness about you and all that good stuff. You play in the league. But I love being able to have you guys come on and y'all being humble and being cool, and all the people, you know, being able to really hear your story and be able to talk to you and be able to pick your brain. And, you know what I'm saying? Because the fans love hearing what y'all really got to say and y'all's knowledge, because it helps all of us. You feel me? It helps us what to look at, and it just helps us to be able to be maybe more sensitive to the athletes out there when we get to actually talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of cool having that perspective of realizing how hard it is, you know. And as far as the knowledge goes, man, you know your shit, dude. Like, I don't think you can really learn too much from me. It's cool to be able to, like, talk about schemes and stuff that, you know, I've been a part of, but like, dude, you know your shit. Like, and it's cool to be able to, and it's cool. Like, I appreciate you doing this, man. I appreciate you guys taking your time and talking Cowboys football and just being in kind of a community that, you know, it's always like, I love talking football. I could do this all day. So it's nice to be able to talk to someone who actually knows what he's talking about and can teach me some stuff. Like you talked about some of the stuff that I'm not really even up to. And so I appreciate that, dude. And yeah, it'd be fun to be on more often and be with some guys I used to play with that I don't really get to talk to anymore. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. You heard what Maddie said. Maddie said, I know some shit, so y'all can shut the hell up. You feel me? Raise the roof over here. You feel me? Y'all better shut the hell up over here. Big game change. Know a little bit of stuff over here. Y'all hush y'all mouth, man. But yeah, dog, we definitely gonna do some more. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna hit Barry up because I think we're gonna bring him on in a couple weeks. So when I hit him up, I'm gonna see if we can do like a 3-man show, me, you, and Barry, and just talk more safety, and especially when it getting close to the draft. I don't know if you've been looking up on some players, but if you could maybe look up on some players, especially in the safety and the corner position, because I've been dropping some videos. I dropped a couple cornerback videos today. Jump in there so you know when we can talk, we can have like a little draft breakdown. We can talk about some safeties. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely cool with that because I love to be able to talk about that, especially when we're talking schemes. We can talk players, but when we talk schemes, who's a better fit and what they need to look at, because everybody can jump out there, man, and say, ooh, I like him. He's nice. But why is he nice? Does he fit the scheme? It doesn't matter if he's nice, but does he fit the scheme? Is he going to be intelligent enough to be able to make these calls? And what call does he look at when the offense comes to the line of scrimmage? You get what I'm saying? I want to continue to talk about that and bring that level to the fans, including myself, because it educates us more and makes us more knowledgeable in the game. You feel me?
Dude, I'm so down for that because that's exactly what I like to do, man, is be able to talk scheme stuff. And, you know, having you, me, and Barry on, dude, we could probably talk about that shit forever. So I'm down for that.
Hell yeah, let's do the damn thing. But, hey, shout-outs to you, big dog. I'm going to let you go do your thing. Man, hey, y'all better give Maddie. I better get a whole bunch of fire damn emojis from Maddie coming up in here and doing the damn thing because we've been trying to holler back and forth. He's getting strong again. Look at him. They called you. They said you look like LVE. You know what I'm saying? And you low key do the way you built. You know what I'm saying? Like LV got that no neck guy. You know what I'm saying? Big shoulders and things and all that good stuff. So I'm glad you're back healthy, bro. I'm really happy that you're back healthy doing your thing. I'm so glad you're back coaching. It looks like it's just brought that happiness in you. You can see it in you. So, man, just blessings upon blessings, bro. And let's just continue to do this, man. I hit you up probably in the next few weeks, and let's do another show, man. And let's just keep on kicking it.
Appreciate it, man. That means a lot, dude. I appreciate it a ton. And, yeah, let's do this more often for sure. I'm down.
All right, man. My guy, Matty Johnson back here, former Cowboy safety, doing his thing out there coaching. And appreciate you, dog. And we'll be talking to you in a few weeks. All right, man?
All right, man. Sound good.
All right, man. Peace. All right. So I got my guy. I'm about to jump off here, man. But a great interview with my guy, Matt Johnson, man. I loved him, man. We you know what I'm saying? I happened to hit him up on an accident. Actually, I hit him up on an accident. And I didn't know if he was going to respond to me when I got in his inbox, to be all the way truthful with you. And I just said, hey, man, I always kind of followed you and I always kind of, known about you. I would love to have you on my show just so you could just kind of tell your story because I thought you was going to be really good with Dallas, but the injuries kind of derailed you. And he jumped right back in and hit me back. And, I think we've just built a really good friendship from this point in time. And it's pretty awesome, man. Matt's a great guy. And I can't wait to do more shows with him. Great guy. So that was a great time, man. Great, awesome interview. I'm not saying awesome interview for me, but just awesome interview, man. Matt, and especially rewind that part where Matty was talking about the cover 3 scheme and what to see and what to look at, linebackers, things of that nature. We're going to get even more in depth with that. When we talk about coverages, maybe we can get some chalkboard up there, get Barry in here, like I said, with Matty, and we could, actually get some chalk talk on there and show, some things. So that would be awesome. I love getting the player perspective. So, when you actually are watching the game, you can see what's really going on when you actually hear these guys. You can study on your own, but hearing it from these guys kind of just like, kind of helps you out and, close up some things in your mind. So that was just an awesome interview, y'all, and I had a great time with um, Matty. That's my guy. That is my guy. So appreciate you guys. You guys were great in the feed, man. Let's get some more of them likes up before I head up out here. And please go out there and be a subscriber. If you'd like to become a member, start as low as $1.99. We're going to continue to do some more things, you know, with the show, with the program, everything going on. Check out the new videos that I just dropped. I dropped a couple videos on Caleb Farley and Ifatu Melafano. Obi's his brother. I dropped, you know, I dropped about 5 or 6 videos, but go check those videos. I'll see how you like them. Cornerback videos. I'm getting ready to do a JC Horn video, as well as a Baron Browning from O State, from linebacker from O State. He was just in the Senior Bowl. He had a pretty good Senior Bowl. I thought it was pretty impressive. And you know, he's a backer from Ohio State. I love some JC Horn. Caleb Farley, I really like him. That tape, I really like Caleb Farley. I'm a little nervous because, you know, he didn't play last year, opted out, and he has some injury history. But man, his athletic ability is ridiculous. I love JC Horn. I'm gonna show that video. I don't think he has the athletic ability like Farley, for real. But if you don't get a Farley, you could trade down and get a Horn. That'd be dope. And Ifatu is nasty too, but you know, we're going to continue to look at some more corners and safeties. And I really want to bring the safeties. When we talk about safeties like the Trevor Morwig and the other cat, I think it's a Washington or whatever, that's in that back end, I really want to bring those guys on when we talk about those safeties so they can enlighten and kind of let us know what to see and what to look at when we're talking about that thing. Just like I said, I like to get positions. James, I don't know if y'all remember, I had James Whalen on my show. He was a former tight end with the Cowboys. I think it was like a couple of years, James Whalen. He was on my show 2018, and I hit him up, and you know, we talked to him. He said he was going to jump on the show again. Said he was just real busy because I think he's a teacher as well in Kentucky, I believe. But I was like, hey, man, jump in here so we can talk tight end. You play tight end. We can talk Blake Jarwin. We can talk Dalton Schultz. Yeah, definitely. So I like to get these guys' perspective, and especially when they play those positions, they give us that deep inside look that we really need. You know what I mean? Not just the hearsay. Guys, I was actually there. And I don't care if they played 1 year or 15 years. They still played in the NFL, and you played college. You've seen things that not the regular person has seen. So you help everybody else. So that's why we like to do it over here. You feel me? So hopefully we can get more of that pop on that. Yeah, revisit that. The Reaper. As far as the Richie Grant, I already have tried to get some Richie Grant tape, and it's really hard to get. So there's Richie Grant out there, but I'm not going to get copyright because they'll try to hit me with that copyright strike for playing him. So if I can find a way to get, because I've already tried to get Richie Grant, and it's been unsuccessful. So we'll see how that goes with that. A lot of stuff is hard to get sometimes, but we'll do. I'm gonna be grinding my ass off until the draft with a whole bunch of players. So just continue to check, and if I can get that, it will definitely be out for you for sure. Probably, keep it real. Probably the Reaper. Probably so. I know Jeff probably got it. He probably vouched to it. They got insiders, dog. They the plugs. They got plugs. Straight up. Got my respect. But hey, let me get up off here, man. I had a long day at work. I came straight from work, got all this stuff together, and I'm kind of tired, and I'm about to drop this video here. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it. Yes, Burgers and Blitzes this week, definitely Thursday. Definitely Thursday with Burgers and Blitzes. That's my guy. But I don't know if I'm gonna drop Baron Browning first or JC Horn, and then I got some other guys coming right after them. We'll see how I feel. But those two guys are coming up, and then some other guys afterwards. Sorry if my members didn't get it first, but I wasn't at the location, so I'm gonna try to drop my members in there for everybody. So we know how we do. I love everybody. Love all you guys. Thank you for all the support. Jim Laws, love you, dog. Darren Davis, what's up with you, young AK? Boo, thank you. Know how we do. Just checking those all in the building. Steve Lumpton, I appreciate you, big dog. KMT, I love you. Appreciate you, man. What else we got in here? Cowboys are #1. What's up with you? Rue Glock, how you doing, big dog? Uncle Charles, how you doing, man? JP, appreciate you. Appreciate you being in the show. Thank you. Thurston Howe III, love you, man. Let me see what else we had in here. William Anthony, shout out to you. Logan Davis. Like I said, the Reaper, what's up with you? Really appreciate all you guys. Yeah, I should bring Maddie on the late night hype. I appreciate you, Evan Lane. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Gonzalez. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. What's up, say prime time? Really appreciate y'all. But hey, become a subscriber, sub. Get them subs up. You feel me? I want to get that 10K. That's not, I'm not all about the numbers. I'm not the numbers guy. I'm really not. I trust and believe I'm not. But I just have goals. You feel me? Just goals. Working hard goals. So we had to go to hit 5K before the season over, and we did that. So we want to hit 10K before the season starts. So that's October, right? September, October. It's already February. So you got 8 months. So we need 5K before that. So let's get it. Let's get these subs up. Let's get it popping, man. Not saying I'm not the greatest show out there, but yo, I bring some heat, man. You bring them good ass guests, film. We go to combines. If it wasn't there, I'd have been at the Senior Bowl. They would have let me. I ain't bragging to my horn. I'm just saying, the grind is real up here. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be at these games this year if they allow us. I'm gonna let COVID hit us twice. Feel me? Continue with them popping interviews, get close all the way, you know what I mean? We'll always want to keep you with the latest Cowboys news close to the ear, the beat. Cowboys media, I think we're going to be getting Brian Broaddus back on the hype, you know what I'm saying? So, you feel me? Get them subs up over here. Feel me? Some good stuff over here. Good stuff over here, y'all. I believe the late night hype is going to be tomorrow. We're going to start doing that maybe a few weeks out because, the season's not here. It's hard, Cowboys news, it's always going to be there, but you don't want to regurgitate the same thing over and over and over, say the same thing over and over. That gets kind of old and lame to me. I don't want to just do that just to do it. So, we kind of came up with a plan, do it every few weeks while the season is kind of low so we can gather up news and always keep things fresh with y'all, gather up guests, things of that nature. So that's what we're looking like now. So nothing's changed with the hype. We're just looking at, not going every week because it's not it's the off season now. So we want to build up news, continue to build up our channels, and then when some fire stuff comes, we can just, bam, throw it right there. So, but best believe we got some stuff lined up, sponsors. We want to always go to a different level. In the first really year with the hype was damn near nutty successful, but we don't want to say the same. We don't want to be the same like we were last year. We want to keep on up and up in the ante. Don't want to be stagnant. Always want to create and do new things, especially this draft is going to be hyping. That's why I want to get some players on this draft this year. I want to get a player perspective with the draft this year, and get the other YouTubers. I got the UK Cowboy fans out there in UK. They want to do some things, and I'm trying to get out there. So, you know what I'm saying? We're just trying to continue to build and grow. So continue to support all the YouTubers out there, but especially the Late Night Hype, Big Game James, Law Nation, Skywalker Still. Support everybody out there, but definitely give us y'all love and y'all support, man, so we continue to make things great for the Cowboys community and give y'all what y'all want. Feel me? But I definitely appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the likes, everything, all that good stuff. I just can't tell y'all enough. And check out these next videos about to drop. And I think we will be doing the hype tomorrow. So we'll talk some more Cowboys news, Dak, all that good stuff. And now keep on supporting, man. And I love y'all. Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation. I'm out. Peace.